you for joining in. My name is Sean Hogan. I am a member of two Rotary clubs. I joined the North Delta Rotary Club in 1987 and then also joined the Pacific Northwest Passport Rotary Club. So been in Rotary a long time, done lots of different things, including past district governor and public relations chair for Rotary International. So been busy with a lot of stuff, really enjoyed it, and certainly learned the value of engagement. So one of the things we're going to ask when we introduce you is what is engaging you, what connects you to your club. So keep that in mind as we call upon you and let us know when we have you introduce yourself. I'm going to just do a bit of a screen share here so you can see. So we're here for the membership engagement parts that you're here for as well. I'd like to introduce the team that's so again, myself, Dennis Boyd, is dealing with all of the membership courses through the month. So Dennis, why don't you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about the upcoming membership courses?
Thanks, Sean. Can I ask everybody to mute themselves unless you're chatting with us, which will be something we may do later. That way we won't get any unintended visitation or interruption. So we welcome as well to this, the first of 4 Wednesday night membership sessions, this one on engagement. Next week, we're going to have a session on innovation, and past district governor Tracy Vavrick from the Edmonton area will be back and we'll do an excellent presentation next week. The week following that, we're going to have a session for new members. And these are people that have been in Rotary since, let's say, 2020 January on through to now. It's going to be a special session with past district governor Brad, governor-elect Bev, and current governor Carol. They'll have some ideas for the new members. And then I'll be back on the last Wednesday, the 28th, where we're going to explore Rotary Networking Plus, the business directory, and hopefully get a few more of you on there. So thanks again and welcome.
Muted myself because I was afraid of Dennis. All right, thank you. So I'm going to ask Annette Burrows to introduce herself as well. She's our tech support for tonight from the Rotary Club of Abbotsford, I believe. Langley Central, sorry. So Annette, introduce yourselves, and I forgot to ask Dennis, but tell us what engages you with your club as well as part of your introduction.
So I'm Annette Burrows. I'm the current president of the Langley Central Rotary Club. What engages me is my forced meeting leadership. No, that I have 3 more months to go on this Zoom platform. No, I think, you know, it's those meaningful relationships that you build with not only your Rotary members, but also how you can impact your community and make difference in individuals' lives. And that's I believe in the service above self. I've been born and bred that way. So this just it warms my heart.
Annette, did you figure out if you're able to do the poll, or are we going to be doing a manual poll?
We have to do a manual one that's not set up on this Zoom account.
Thank you. All right, so let's see if I can advance to the next slide. Oops, there we go. So this month you have an opportunity to take learning and development courses. The concept being that the more educated and informed that our members are, the more empowered and engaged we're going to be. So that's why Rotary puts a lot of time and energy into learning and development courses for both professional and personal reasons. The Rotary International Action Plan will be in effect until 2024. So you're going to see 4 modules of this, and that's the way that our training is currently being arranged around. And the strategic imperatives that you'll see are increasing our impact, expanding our reach, enhance participant engagement, and increasing our ability to adapt. So you'll be seeing this graphic a lot as we put all the puzzle pieces together in terms of how to become a bigger, better, bolder, and more effective Rotary Club and Rotarians. Today, we're going to be talking about the enhancing of participant engagement, in particular, engaging our current membership. There will be other courses, as Dennis said, on different areas. So we're going to be giving value to our current members, building connections, both within our clubs and outside our clubs, and talking about the use of Rotary's Learning Center. So thank you again for coming. We're going to get into our program. We've got a couple of speakers that I'll be introducing to tell us a little bit about how their clubs are doing. In particular, 2 clubs have been doing quite well. There's a number of them have been doing well, but 2 of them that are here tonight. So I'm first going to ask Gary O'Reilly from the Lake Stevens Rotary Club to tell us about what his club is doing. And Gary, please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about what engages you with your club.
Well, thanks, Sean. Gary O'Reilly. I'm secretary of our club. This is about the 3rd round of secretary. I was president in 2014 and 2015. Been in this particular Rotary Club for about 12 years. I was in another Rotary Club in Baton Rouge, Louisiana when I was down there, which per capita was the 8th largest club in the world with over 500 members. And then I started out in a similar size club in Longview, Washington. What engages me in this particular setting is the fact that I come from a public affairs background. I was a Chamber of Commerce manager at one time in my life, but I wanted to give back to the community. And what I have found in our club is a Rotary family. There's now 46 of us. We're all fairly well engaged. And if you ask any one of them, they're going to all tell you that we're like family. So that's basically where I come from as far as being engaged. I like the community that we're in. I like what we're doing. We don't have a lot of big manufacturers. Our biggest business is going to be Costco when it opens up in about maybe by the end of this year. And we're excited about that. For me, it'll be 4 minutes away from my house, so I won't have to drive a long ways to pick up all the things that you buy. Our club, when I started as president, was 26 members. And as I said, we're 46 now. When COVID hit, we had about 2 weeks where we did nothing. Everybody was talking to each other on the phone, and then Zoom appeared. And we started Zoom. And all I can say is Zoom and our in-person are almost identical in far as attendance goes. 60 to 75% per week. We have a fun club. We have a sergeant of arms that raises one hell of a lot of money. And it's kind of a fun way of starting. We do the typical thing that every other club does: the pledge, the 4-way test, committee reports, happy bucks and fines, and then a program. We do have a weekly program every week. And if we don't have a program, we typically have classification talks. Just to give you an idea of the type of programs we had, 2 weeks ago, we had the president of the Snohomish County chapter of the NAACP talking about issues going on in and around Snohomish County, as well as the United States. It was an engaging conversation and something that I think everybody learned a lot from. Recently, prior to that, we had a representative from the Rotary Club of Portland, Oregon, who is started a U40 club as part of their chapter to get more young people involved. And as I recall from what he said, theirs is a 1-year under 40 U40 club where they get them involved. They're required to do certain things. And once they get over that year, then they're pretty much indoctrinated into the club. So I really think that the Zoom meetings have really helped us. The fact that we haven't dropped attendance has been very important. I can tell you that Kiwanis has not met for over the year and a half. I can tell you the Lions Club has hardly met. Both of them, I've talked to both of their presidents, and the two fundraisers that are the fundraisers that benefit them the most are done in the summertime. Last year's was canceled. That was about an $80,000 hit for Kiwanis. They told me they'd be in trouble if this year's canceled, and it is. And so they're having a really difficult time. They're trying to figure out how to even get Zoom to work.
So Gary, what's connecting your club? So are you doing anything different with Zoom that is making it feel like a regular club meeting?
We're doing the same thing that we do at a club meeting. Nothing has changed. It hasn't varied at all. We're also considering, and I know that Dave Duskin has been looking at, when we return to in-person type meetings, of should there be a Zoom component. Our club has wholeheartedly endorsed that concept, and we're looking into it as a matter of deal. Membership, we're at 46, but we got one on the agenda for tomorrow night that will be approved. He was sent to us through RI. Took me 4.5 months to get him on the phone or on email, but every week I email him a Zoom link. I called him every week, and he finally on board. And now he's attended the last 6 meetings, and I think he'll be a well engaged. He just moved here with his wife and set up an insurance practice.
Okay, Gary, I'm going to thank you at this point because I want to get to the other speakers, but
That's fine.
what we're going to do is I'm thinking of having a panel later on where we'll have our speakers come back and share some information and give all of the participants in the session here a chance to ask questions through the chat or perhaps in person. So thank you, Gary. The next club that I want to talk about is the Whidbey West Side Rotary Club. Gwen Jones is going to be telling us why her club has been having success through the year of the pandemic. Gwen? You might be muted, Gwen.
There I am. There's probably people on this call right now that are probably very excited I was muted. I'm just saying. Anyhow, hi, everybody. I am Gwen Jones. I am the president-elect to the Rotary Club of Whidbey West Side. My boss, Jim Rogers, is also on this call with me tonight. And over on the other side is Celia Black, who will come after me. So the next 2 years is going to be a lot of women here at Rotary Club at Whidbey West Side. And we couldn't be more excited. And Jim has been awesome during COVID. So thank you, Jim, for all of your amazing year. I had our membership committee, Sharon Edberg, do a little thing for us that we're currently at 40 members. We lost some, we've gained some, but Jim's goal was 3. And so in a time of COVID, we are looking strong to keep it at 3. We are not a huge club. We are a dynamic club. And that's what we're really going to talk about tonight. So I know there's some people that are seeing me tonight that I saw last night. So hi. So if these slides repeat, please forgive me. So this is from Rotary. A brand is more than a logo. Rotary's brand is much bigger than a wheel. It's the perception and how others think of us and how, not just how we see ourselves. And so this is a motto that PI and Whidbey has really taken to heart. And so one things that we've done is we've embraced these 3 programs like nobody's business, especially during COVID. These are our 3, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And we also have reached out in other ways before COVID. We were called the fun club, quote unquote. We did parades to reach out to people. This is our 4th of July parade, and we had a blast. We let people know all the time, we are Rotary, we are here, we are fun, come join us. All right, we are a fun club. We served wine at our Shakespeare festivals. Again, we are young, we are old, we are tattooed, we are male, we are female, we are engaging, and that's why our club has stayed strong during COVID. You know, from car shows, every time we had a chance to put up a booth, we were there. Every time. Now, COVID hit. So what do you do when COVID hits? We can't look at these beautiful cars in the summertime. We just heard from somebody saying that Kiwanis and others, may they all be in our prayers, are having a really tough time right now. So we had to think of some new and exciting ideas. We do have a Christmas tree lot. This is from last year. Yes, we were masked. But I wanted to point out this poster. Every time you bought a Christmas tree from us this year, this is a poster of every single thing that our Rotary Club has done with the money from those Christmas trees. We always had membership cards with us. We always had programs with us. We always wanted people to come join us and have fun. All right. This is one of our favorites. I know this is fast. I got 10 minutes. So please email me if I'm going too fast, anybody. This is the inside of a book. It just says, this is a gift, never for sale, freelittleLibraries.org. Our club works in cooperation with the Free Little Libraries, and this is how we get the word out there about our club. We get books, we slap this sticker on it, and we make sure our little libraries all over Island County are filled with our books. And this is the way people have got to know us. All of these books have a sticker in them that say, come join us at Rotary. This is how we reach out to people. It's kind of under the radar, but it's a lot of fun. We also do some fun things during COVID right now to raise money. We did this last summer. We bombed people's houses with beautiful, beautiful pink flamingos. Everybody loves flamingos. We literally went to businesses that needed our help. We went to people's houses and we literally put acres of flamingos all over their businesses. Not only did these businesses get attention, but people paid for these flamingos to be put at their businesses. It was a great fundraiser for us, and it just made people happy. How can you not be happy? Look at this. This is happy. And we did the same thing just a few weeks ago with eggs. For $20, 2 dozen for $40, 3 dozen for $60, you could pay for a COVID sealed egg hunt. We followed all the CDC and COVID instructions, and we literally made kids' Easters by putting together Easter egg hunts. Now that is a sexy Jim Rogers in full Easter attire, right there putting together Easter eggs, and they were adored. This is some of our other people this is Dawn and John that were also out spending Easter joy. Now, how does this engage people? One, look at those kids. They are engaged. But two, we had a secret weapon. And the secret weapon was what this kid is holding in his hand. If everybody sees this magical little egg, I'm sure you know what that sticker is. That is a Rotary sticker. I know I'm going to go fast. See that Rotary sticker? Inside that egg that went to every single Easter egg hunt was filled with our stuff. Not only did it have a pin from a world conference, but it also had, we are people in action doing good in our community. We invite you to get involved. Join us on Zoom. And this is how we're getting new people in our club. We literally laid eggs for new members. We also have these cards. Every single member in our club has these cards. These are made through Moo cards. On the front of them are great photos of our clubs doing happy, fun stuff. On the other side here's your name. If you run into the store and somebody notices your Rotary pin or your Polio Plus pin, you take this out of your wallet and you say, hey, join us on Zoom. We'd love to see you. Come join us. Here you go. All of our Rotary members have these. Same with our Interact kids. They have these. These are all over the high school. Last but not least, we have a new membership packet that we did during our time of COVID that also includes all of these businesses. These are businesses that we support through Rotary. These are Rotary members, and this is how they're getting out there and getting engaged. And last but not least, we gave out checks. And nobody can say no to a big, oversized, obnoxious check. We had money sitting in our coffers, and it made us really happy in this particular case to give to House of Hope. We also gave to local food banks and charities. We may not have been able to get out there, but our money got out there this entire year. We also did some posters. This is our Interact kids wishing the class that didn't get to walk across the stage, a happy 2020. Banners are fantastic to get engagement. Every single day, people are driving by and seeing that banner by your Rotary Club. We also did one thanking our healthcare workers as we got together with the 4 clubs here on the island to provide PPE. I'm almost done. Here we go. That made it in the newspaper. So that is our club. That is our banner on the highway of 525. You get to see every single time that the Rotary Club of Woodby Westside is actively participating in your community, actively doing stuff all over the island every day with big smiles on their face, whether they are live and in person, or I'm going to speed up and just go on Zoom. We have never missed a meeting. We have been 100% during COVID on. We are going hybrid. Jim has requested us to go hybrid. We will be 100% hybrid within just a couple of weeks. We've gotten all the equipment. Please, if anybody has any questions, Rotary Club of Woodby Westside is open and receptive to give you all the information that I've done. The more we engage, the more we get Rotarians, the bigger and better we are. The end. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Gwen. Very exciting presentation. I can see why your club is doing well and popular, both in terms of reaching out to the community, but also engaging your members through service projects. And maybe later when we get more open questions, we'll talk about what you might be doing with Zoom and your meetings and how you're engaging members that way.
Sure. And if I could do a quick plug, a lot of the people that are on here tonight were on last night's Facebook Canva presentation. And next Tuesday, we're going to be diving deep into PR and PI and doing a lot of those things with Celia Black, who's on your screen now. So I encourage you all to sign up for that Fiesta class next Tuesday. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're going to take a bit of a break before we go to our next couple of speakers. And what I would like you to do is use the chat box. So at the bottom of your Zoom, you'll see the chat box. You can click that to open. And what we're going to do is ask you to tell us how you think your club is doing with membership engagement. So from 1 to 5, 1 being not really good at all, to 5 being awesome, I'd like you to give us a sense of how your clubs are doing. So please go through the chat box and type the number 1 to 5 to let us know how you're doing. Ayrton's got a 1, LeConnor for 4, Semiamu 4, Gary 4, Coquitlam Sunrise 3, some more 3s, 4s, 1.5, Keisha, great to see you again. 2 for Annette, 7 for Westside, Ran 3, 5, and some 4s. All right, I think that's got most of everyone. So thank you for doing that. Oh, a couple more coming in. So what I'm seeing from here is that that a lot of members are generally okay with how their club is doing, but I also see that there's room for improvement. I see some that are really excited about how their clubs are doing, and those are people that we'll ask to share with us. But I also want to hear from you people that think your club can do better in terms of how you would like to see it more engaging. So thank you for that. We're going to go on to our next speakers and talk with some of our Rotaract members. And I'm going to ask Jacob Sawatzky with the Semiamu Rotaract Club to tell us what his club is doing and what engages him with Rotaract. Jacob?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Is it okay if I share my screen?
Yes, you should.
Okay. I'm just going to share this here. Okay. Can everyone see this?
Yes, you're up.
Okay, so I'm just going to start by quickly going over a quick recap of what our club has been up to, because in our focus on engagement, a big part of engagement is engaging people in service projects to make sure that they feel like they're doing something good in the community. So I'm not going to go through all of this, but this just kind of starts of our founding, the founding of our club in 2018. And so this was our first major project, 12 Days of Kindness, which is 12 service projects for 12 days in a row. And so this had several impacts, but then we expanded on that with the next years. So also we've had more projects such as giving, I believe it was a big dinner to the fire hall, donating 2,600 pairs of socks to Options Community Center, making Valentine's Day cards for the neonatal intensive care unit of the hospital, doing some garbage cleanups on the beach, painting positive messages on rocks and putting them around the community, doing invasive species removals, more Valentine's Day cards. This time it was for, I believe this was for Peace Arch Hospital, the long-term care unit, and more garbage cleanups. We've also done quite a lot of work with our other Rotaract and Rotary clubs within the district and otherwise. So this was the bread run and a lot of fundraisers, as well as helping out at the seniors luncheon at the Sources Women's Shelter. Guatemala Stove Project fundraising. This was our biggest project so far, and it took a whole year of fundraising with everything from pub nights to bottle drives to car washes to Surrey Eagles hockey game to donut sales. And I actually even organized a concert. Of course, this was back when we could all join or gather together at concerts. And this concert alone raised over $1,000 for the project in one night. So this all led up to the Guatemala Stove Project. And I'm going to skip the video trailer just in regards to time, but this is all available on our YouTube account. And that's another thing I wanted to get to in terms of engagement is having videos that we can show people about what our club has been up to. It's been quite useful. Also for encouraging new members to give them a taste of what we've been up to. So I'm actually just gonna pause this, but if you'd like to see it, it's on our YouTube account. So we all went to Guatemala to install Aller stoves for a variety of reasons. And this was teaming up with some other Rotaract clubs within the district as well. And these are a few of the other things we did in Guatemala as well. And I'm just skimming through this just because I'd like to also get into some of the engagement strategies that we've used as well. But Yale and Ryla have been very big for recruiting. And unfortunately, we haven't been able to gain as many new members in the past year from Yale and Ryla, of course, because of COVID. And so this is one of our main resources of gaining new members. So hopefully in the upcoming Ryla, which will be online, we still get some members from that as well. So we have done several concert fundraisers, one of which made its way into the Peace Arch News. And that also brought in over $1,000 in one night. And so again, this is on our YouTube account if you'd like to see. And I'm just going to skip over this, but one of the few things you'll see here is over 1,575 homeless people have a fresh pair of socks, lots of work with the SPCA and more. We've done a lot of work with the environment. Here was a salmon release in the first photo, an invasive species removal, planting trees in a park with the city of Surrey, as well as another invasive species removal. And COVID lockdown. So as you all remember, of course, at the beginning of the COVID lockdown, it was quite frantic. Everyone was rushing the stores. And one of the people that were often forgotten in this time were seniors that weren't unable to get to the store. So what we did is we organized a senior grocery delivery, and we would put these posters out around the community, and we would get calls with specific requests for groceries, usually about 2 weeks of groceries at a time. And then we would go to the store, buy the groceries, bring them all the way to the seniors' residence using gloves and masks, and drop them off, and then they would reimburse us for the fee or for the cost of the groceries with no extra fees. So this was another one of our big projects recently. We did over 75 grocery runs, each with 2 weeks worth of groceries. So that was a huge project. And so more cards for veterans. This was on Valentine's Day this year. We wrote some cards for veterans. And another 12 Days of Kindness, which has become an annual tradition. And I know I'm going over, probably going over the time limit, so I'm just going to skip through here. And yeah, so that's essentially what our club has been up to. It's been quite an amazing experience. And
With these kinds of projects, feel free to take the time you want. These are amazing. So congratulations. Keep talking.
okay. All right. Well, happy to hear that. Thank you. And of course, this actual summary is in more depth on our YouTube account, and so that will be on our last slide. So here I'm just going to go over our overall impact, adding up all of these projects together. What has our club accomplished? So 5,284 homeless people have a fresh pair of socks. 677 handwritten holiday cards delivered to veterans, seniors, and those in the hospital. 450 homeless people got access to hygiene supplies that most people consider essential. 290 lime and orange trees planted in rural Guatemala, and about 50 pairs of reading glasses distributed based on the best fitting prescriptions. 89 ventilated stoves installed in rural Guatemalan villages. These families were previously using indoor fires to cook, which caused them many problems. Over 75 grocery deliveries to seniors and the immunocompromised during COVID-19 lockdowns, reducing contact with the most vulnerable populations. 31 months of cat litter and 7 months supply of cat food donated to the BC SPCA. 5 garbage cleanups, 3 invasive species removals, 2 tree planting sessions, and 1 salmon release. So that's everything we've done up to today, and we are continuing our work, meeting once a week. And yeah, so you can, so this was just our little recruitment slide. So when we're looking to share this with new members, this is what I've been tending to share with them, just kind of all of these great things that can be accomplished through Rotary, both for helping the world and also just for personal growth. And yeah, so this is all of our social media accounts. We've got Instagram, which we're probably most active on, and Facebook, and we also have a YouTube account. That's something I've been working pretty hard at for the last few years to document all of our projects in video format. And so, yes, this is all available online. And so if you're interested in learning more about our projects, I encourage you to check some of these out. So yeah, thank you for watching. And I know that was a little bit long, but I was hoping to maybe say a few things briefly just about Zoom and COVID and how we've managed with that. Is it okay to keep going, or?
Yeah, no, go ahead, please.
Okay, so I'm just gonna stop sharing here. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, which is kind of a common phenomenon now, is Zoom burnout. A lot of people report that meetings can feel like the same every time. Some people feel like there's less connection over Zoom than in person. Even if the conversations are the same, there's something about being behind the screen that seems like a bit of a barrier. And sometimes Zoom small talk can feel artificial, especially with constant interruptions. I'm sure we've all experienced that. Oh no, you go first, right? And then also connection issues, the cutting out and that kind of thing. So Zoom has presented several barriers in terms of just feeling a little bit more artificial. And it's my view that I think a little bit needs to be done to kind of counteract that. And so what I've found has been most helpful is kind of like a semi-structured format where at each meeting, kind of encourage conversations by picking certain topics and everyone will go around and say their thing about such a topic, whether it's like a topic conversation, like if you could live in any fictional world from a book or movie, where would it be, etc. This is just kind of something you might say at the start of a meeting just to kind of warm things up. And so then someone will go, and everyone kind of has a turn. But after somebody goes, sometimes someone will add on to that, and it will turn into a conversation, and it ends up feeling pretty natural feeling. Whereas what I've found with more of the small talk, like, oh, how has your week been going? And oh, it's good, and the weather's nice, and then we're still dealing with these connection issues and interruptions. I find that sometimes those don't flow as well as the kind of semi-structured conversations. So some specifics into what we do each meeting. We start with happy clap, and that's kind of a variation of happy bucks, which I heard spoken about earlier. It usually entails just everyone goes around and says something positive about like their last week, whether it's something like, oh, the weather was nice today and I went for a walk, or something like that. So we all go around, and even if people are maybe not having a good week, they tend to still feel comfortable sharing that, and that way they can kind of get support from the club, and that's been helpful. As I mentioned, sometimes we have conversation topics, just fun questions to provoke fun conversations. And so another thing we've kind of been trying to do is like social projects. So rather than having specific meetings designated to purely socials, one thing that we've been doing is having projects where we can do work, but also kind of talk at the same time. And it feels like as if it's a social meeting, whereas we're actually still getting things done. Personally, I sometimes feel with all of the school online and Rotaract online that I don't feel very motivated to go to a meeting just for a social. But if it's a mix between a social and some kind of goal, that's been pretty helpful. And yeah, that's more or less it. I guess you could say a little bit about social games. Sometimes we actually have our meeting, and then for the last little bit of the meeting, we'll have like a social game, usually over some online thing. So I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Scriblio, but it's kind of a variation of Pictionary, which is similar to charades. And people can play it online. It's free. You can play with up to 12 people. And that's always been a big source of laughs and fun. And so what we do is we'll have the meeting first, and then towards the end of the meeting, we can play a game like Scriblio. And the people that need to get out of the meeting to go do something else, they're free to go whenever. And then the people who would like to stay longer and keep playing are welcome to do that. So we actually did, for World Rotaract Week, we organized a meeting with the Rotaract Club of Belize, which is in Central America. And we met with them, and at first we each did a bit of a presentation about what our clubs have been up to. And then for the second half, just as I said, we played Scriblio, and the people who wanted to keep playing, they kept playing for as long as they wanted. And yeah, it was a great time and lots of fun. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to say. So just as a quick recap, one of the best things for engagement is, projects. Do people feel like they're doing something in the world, and do they feel engaged through service? And then just kind of Zoom burnout prevention strategies that I found have been helpful to our club was the happy clap, kind of a variation of happy bucks, if everyone's heard of that. Conversation topics can be nice. Social projects that you feel like you're getting things done, but also able to communicate and relate to one another. Oh, and then the last thing that I'll mention is at the end of each meeting, each of our members says their goals for the week. So sometimes someone's goal is, oh, I just want to drink more water this week. And that way we're kind of showing our members that we also care about their personal development as well. Okay, so that's everything I wanted to go over. Thank you all. And
Thank you, Jacob. Great presentation. There were lots of really positive comments. I don't know if you saw them popping up from the chat box while you're going on. And at least one request for you to be a speaker at a club. And I can think of a couple clubs I'd like you to speak at as well. Laura did paste the Scriblio link for anyone who wants to use it. And perhaps, as Jacob, if you can enter your email contact in the chat box as well. Anyone wants to follow up with you can. Again,
absolutely.
thank you very much for that. I want to get on now to Phoenix MacLaren. If you've been involved in youth programs, if you've been involved in the world of Rotary or Rotaract, you will certainly know and have heard of Phoenix, an amazing person, an amazing force, and currently serving as an assistant Rotary coordinator, that is a membership person for Rotary International. So Phoenix, please share with us your thoughts and ideas and tell us what engages you with Rotaract and with Rotary.
Thank you, Sean. It's really great to be here and see so many familiar faces and some new faces as well. I think for me, what engages me at my local or my club specifically is the fact that we're able to make huge impacts with small projects, right? We don't need to do elaborate year-long projects to make a sustainable and long-lasting impact. And it allows our club members to really focus on their passions, which is really what we want to be focusing on. And what I wanted to talk about today is really kind of some of the strategies that we're taking at a district level to really help support clubs with their member engagement. So one of the things is really focusing on the value proposition. So what are our members actually getting from Rotaract? And I think that is sometimes a difficult question, considering Rotaract clubs generally operate on their own budget. They don't pay dues at the moment. And so how can we add value to that membership? And so as a district, what we've done is we've provided a lot of different opportunities for members to attend online training. So Big West Rotaract is a multi-district information organization. So essentially they're just a grouping of Rotary districts, and they offer training for members and conference opportunities. And so we provide discounted registration for members to attend because generally cost is a barrier for many of our members. Another thing that we've done is, in conjunction with Big West Rotaract, is we've tried to provide different and unique ways of having members feel like they're part of the district. So last year we set up email accounts for all members in the district. So everyone who's a paid member has a Rotaract specific email address. And it's a really great added benefit for them because they can really, whenever they're talking with someone, they can say, hey, here's my email address. Because a lot of the issues that have come up in the past is people don't have a dedicated email, or they set one up. And this really allows everyone to be able to connect with each other. We've also introduced Slack. So Slack is like an online platform where all the members can converse together because we were using Facebook, but there's a lot of concern over Facebook. And so we were missing a large part of our audience. And so by providing an alternative platform that everyone can go on, it really opened up that communication. We also are focusing on, how can we best support our presidents, because our clubs are small. So we have 8 clubs in the district that are active. And while they're small, they're still doing a lot of great things. So as you heard from Jacob, Semiahmoo is very active. My club, the Rotaract Club of the Fraser Valley, has been very active. And we've actually been able to grow from 76 members at the start of the year to 87 as of March. So I think that's a really important thing to recognize and celebrate, that even with a pandemic, our district numbers have been growing overall. And I think it's just a testament to the support that we've been able to provide our presidents with monthly meetings and opportunities to know that they're not alone in having to lead their club, because on average, our members or our clubs are around 9 members per club. So we are dealing with quite small numbers. And so our approach in being able to support that engagement is to be able to support our presidents and those who are taking on more roles and responsibilities within the club to know that they have the support that they need from the district. And then the last thing that we've been really focusing on is checking in with our members and making sure that they're actually getting what they want out of Rotary. So asking the question, why did you join? Okay, that's great. Are you actually getting what you want out of the club, right? And then no, why not? Or how can we, what can we do to ensure that you're actually getting what you want? And I think that's really important for our clubs, especially just given the size and wanting to make sure that the members that we do have are engaged. And so that's kind of just it at a high level in terms of what we've been doing at a district level. So thank you.
Thank you, Phoenix. Look at all the hand claps going off. Well done. Okay, what we're going to do next is just open for questions and comments. So we can do this in one of two ways. If you would like to speak, you can either raise your physical hand or you can raise the virtual hand, or you may want to put some comments and questions in the this chat box. So who would like to either ask some questions of our presenters, make some comments, or connect with us otherwise? Lori.
I did not know what to expect for tonight, but I'm so glad that Dennis sent me an invitation. Being a president-elect for Coquitlam Sunrise, and the fear and the uncertainty of going into it, I'm so moved and inspired by what I've heard. And I'm thinking, man, oh man, I could be these young people's grandmother. If they can do it and move, how many of us are here? I am just in awe, and I'm hoping to get ideas. And Jacob, like I said, I'd like you to speak at our club one day. And I think that we're all in this together, and I feel like I can call on any one of you for support and ideas. And Gwen, you are a fireball there. And I just want to thank you all for such an engaging evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. We're going to have Linda and then Keisha. So Linda.
Thank you very much, Sean. So yeah, Jacob, you've done a fabulous job. The future is in good hands with young people like you. So I just wanted to follow up on a comment that Jacob had about sort of a semi-structured discussion. What we do now is we open up our meeting a half an hour before our official meeting start time, and at 7:45, so our official meeting start time is 8, and at 7:45, then we're all put into breakout rooms for about 15 minutes, so about 5-6 people, and usually there's a topic which has been suggested. And so that sort of structures the discussion. On the other hand, sometimes no one even gets to the topic because they got something else they want to talk about. But that structuring, I think, has been helpful. And, you know, like, what was your most embarrassing moment and in your life, and various other things. This week, it's about vaccinations, who's been vaccinated, who hasn't, what was your experience if you had been. And I think it's really helpful. But that spontaneity of interaction when you got a group of 40 people on is lost. But Zoom has really kept our group together, and we've had probably slightly better attendance than even in-person attendance. But engaging people is so critical. We had a membership meeting this morning where we're talking about the importance of touching base with people, making sure that that they're partnered up with somebody in the club if they've just come in and they've got a mentor, but there's a need to maybe have a buddy as well that follows up and make sure that they're okay once they've sort of gone through that mentorship program. So lots of great ideas here. Thanks very much. And really appreciate you offering this session, Sean.
Well, I thank Dennis for putting me in charge of doing it, but thank you. I got to say, Semiahmoo is a really fun club when you could meet in person, even more so after Rod left you. But I enjoy it. All right, with that shot, boom, boom, Keisha.
I'm going to put this question out to Gary O'Reilly, in addition to the rest of the speakers. But I'm just curious, we were at about 40 members. We seem to be declining. It's getting embarrassing now with our Zoom meetings because at the beginning, I was trying to teach those that were not computer inept to help them use Zoom, but people went from Zooming and blooming to Zooming and crashing. So we're now down to about 6 people per meeting on our Zoom meetings, including tonight before this. So I'm just curious, number one, Gary, what's the age demographic of your members and how did you engage those that are not as in depth with computers to get on Zoom?
Thank you. The age demographics is about 25 to 95. We have a 95 and a 92-year-old, and they're computer literate and they're on. We haven't had any negative problems with anybody other than one who happens to be my neighbor. She's Hawaiian and she's 86 and she comes to my house and I set her up on Zoom and downstairs and I run upstairs for the Zoom meeting. So that's the only one that we have. They're engaged because we have a lot of good projects. We have, for 18 years, we requested the city and the county to build a skateboard park. They finally did that. It's a state-of-the-art skateboard park. And tomorrow's our Friday speaker is going to tell us how we can adopt that park. But it's also called Rotary Skate Park, and there'll be a sign up. We're on 2 other parks and we're on a school park. So not as fully engaged as Jacob. I thought I had to go take a nap after I listened to all the things that he was doing. I sent a note to our program chair to get him on. But I think programming is also a key part of engaging. And you heard Jacob say, how do you keep your members involved? And besides projects, I think it's also having good meetings. I hope that answered what you were asking.
Yeah, and thank you also, Jacob, for some of your feedback as to how you're engaging online. I like the scribble idea. Is there any other suggestions for?
I'm going to go to Gwen in a minute, but Keisha, what I've heard from the presenters tonight is those clubs that seem to be doing well are doing service projects, finding some way, despite COVID, to engage their members. You get not only the joy of being able to do some good service, but you get the connections between members that you're just not getting as well online. And the second is some of the tips that we heard from some of the speakers about the different things like the breakout rooms, the happy claps, those kinds of things to make the meeting a little more engaging. So
if I could just add on to that, something I will note is that our club is quite small. And actually we have been sitting at around 10 members pretty much for our whole since our establishment. And some members will go and then it's been a roughly even like amount of people going and people joining. And part of that is because especially like in this time of our lives, many people are actively moving, say going to, Ontario for university and things like that. So we've faced some barriers in terms of you know, trying to even retain people when they're like across the country from us. But actually, we actually have one active member who is at our meeting today who goes to Western University in Ontario and is still somehow engaged in our club. So yeah.
Cool. Right, we're running close to time. So Gwen, I'm going to have you speak briefly. Rod, and then Dennis has some comments he'd like to make. Gwen?
I will be super fast then. First and foremost, a little Bill Nye the Science Guy moment here, that before somebody really hears the word thank you, you have to say it 7 times. Okay. So when you're approaching somebody hears an insult, they hear that on the first time. But thank you can take up to 7 times. So every single time somebody shows up to your Zoom meeting, thank them at least 7 times. If they show up for a project, thank them. Buy a card, buy a hello, by ringing a Rotarian. 7 times, people. Let's get in touch with the word thank you, and that'll get us a lot more inspired. That's number 1. 2, there's a question in chat about hybrid meetings. What? I'm sorry? Oh, sorry.
I said, thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Back at you, girl. All right. There is a hybrid meeting fellowship on Facebook. Please join it. And I and Celia are going to be putting up some schematics pretty soon of how to have your club go hybrid. I know that Michelle was asking that in the chat. Hybrid is our future, people. For the people who are willing to get off Zoom and have been vaccinated. I know that Rotary Club of Woodby Westside at our next board meeting is going to be talking about going hybrid. So as soon as we have the formula, we are happy to share it. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Gwen. Rod also wanted to speak about hybrid meetings. And since I made that one comment everyone's going to remember before, I'll just say thank you to Rod and turn it over to Rod.
Thanks very much, Sean. Just to follow up on what Gwen just gave us, Gwen, of course, is part of our District Communications Committee chaired by Dave Duskin, and they have been tasked with coming up with the ways that we're going to go with hybrid meetings. Mitty Chang will be speaking to us on the 26th. It's in the schedule for the Trading Fiesta. So if you want to know more about hybrid meetings, Mitty will be there. Mitty also has a wonderful document that you can download from his website, Mitty, MITTYCHANG.org. And I know that that's something that our communications committee is looking at as well. So hybrid meetings and engaging more in your meetings. Michael Caruso, who is our public image resource person for Zone 28, will be on Monday the 12th. So you can sign up for that to get more engagement ideas from Michael.
Thank you, Rod. And Phoenix also posted in the chat box some links, including the guide for Mitty Chang. So thank you for doing that, Phoenix. Mr. Boyd.
Thank you, Sean, times 7. Laura Dima, you're here. Just take a moment and tell these people what you do at the beginning of the Coquitlam Rotary Club meetings.
Typically, at the beginning of our meetings, we're playing one of any number of O Canada variations. I'm not sure if that was what you were getting at.
That's it.
Yeah.
And this, Laura's very creative. She's found, I don't know how many we've done, but they've been different every time. And it's just a very simple thing, but it gets a smile on people's faces and gets us into the meeting. The other thing we do is, I'll show you these quickly. It's just so simple. And I've been doing it, so I'm quite happy. We were doing this in our live meetings, and it's a simple group of slides that just focus people a bit on what the focus for the month is, so that they have that in front of them. There's usually a birthday to celebrate. This is one of our oldest Rotarians. He was with our club 54 years ago when we started. He just called me the other day to say that he finally has to give up on Rotary because of health issues. Gary Cruz, but a year or so ago, we celebrated his birthday. We're going to miss him. We celebrate the anniversary of a Rotarian who's been with us for 5 years or whatever. We mention wedding anniversaries right up there. And if the people are there, they celebrate. We have a speaker and we get her picture up or his picture up, and then we get back to them in a bit. We just did a shredding event. And so we would either publicize that, and this one was the follow-up, a few pictures from the event. We got totally slammed, just hundreds and hundreds of people coming. And we got that done. So we'll show things like that. Had to take some extras away, thank the community. This is what's coming up in our club in the near future. So we promoted that. You guys can go online to Rotary Rush and join us if you like. And these are a couple of our characters who are urging each other on to get pledges, and they're going to go clean up a street in cat costumes. We plug Ryla, Networking Plus, excellent business directory. We try and show one each time. We're promoting the district conference. This was coming up last week. We didn't be too much on paradoxical, but it was a great session. And then this, and so just those visuals tend to get folks a little more tuned in. And I'll see if I can, there we are. So I just wanted to mention that. And I'll get out of my slide sharing here, and thank you, Sean.
Muted. Thank you, Dennis. And as Chris Boyd knows, I'm a lawyer, and I don't know if I want him to turn on the cat filter for me or not, because I'm not sure I can get it off myself. So that's it for the time that we have in this presentation. Happy to stay on longer for those of you that want to have a chat, but I appreciate you giving us your hour tonight, and I hope that you'll attend the other Fiesta training sessions that go on through the month, including our membership ones on Wednesday. So thank you again for coming. The formal meeting is over, and I welcome you to unmute and chat if you'd like to stay on.